Hey, do you want a free diorama handmade by yours truly? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and help me get to 1,000 subscribers. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll do a live giveaway here on YouTube and you'll have a chance to get a free handmade diorama by yours truly, and you get to tell me what you want in it. How about that? Please share with everyone you know who might appreciate a free diorama. Welcome to this Diorama Showcase. This diorama is an interesting one for me because I actually built this originally about 4 years ago. All of the walls and floor and main features were part of the original construction, but this was brought back to me to be upgraded and repaired since it had kind of fallen into some disrepair. You'll see images of that later. What you're seeing right now is all things that I handmade for this diorama, minus that blue and yellow die-cast car lift and the tires that are in the back near the bathroom door, which are anchored to the diorama. Everything else here is also anchored to the diorama. You could flip this over and nothing would fall out. All of this is made out of cardboard, sheet aluminum, steel, wire, tubing, mesh, plastic, polystyrene. Those paper towels are made out of paper towels. The door frame is made out of popsicle sticks. The shelving is balsa wood and plastic shelving brackets. The beams are made out of wood and plastic. I was able to even make the lighting cowls or the sort of imitation light ballasts myself as well. The handles on those cabinets are made out of construction staples, thanks to a suggestion from Go Figure Go. And the front had been redone. That is the original brick that I carved, but I made that hand-made sign. And moving around to the back here, I left the original paint job as it is, but I added weathering over the top of it. I added that drip guard made out of aluminum over the back door. I used my green tea technique to make the leaves gather in the back there. And that waste oil barrel is actually a copy of my client's toy accessory that I copied and repainted, so I didn't have to repaint his accessory. The fence has been rebuilt. It wasn't proper scale before, and it is all steel, and the back door has been completely reconstructed. This is the original diorama. This is how it was constructed out of foam, and you can see where I carved and laid out the front wall and the space for the original entrance. And this is the way the diorama looked when it was first finished, and it was pretty exciting back then, but you can see the difference now. And here is the battery box that I built for this diorama, where all the wiring leads to. It's made out of hard plastic and coated in corrugated cardboard and sheet aluminum. I put in those magnets that hold it shut from Home Depot and got it all wired up on a 12-volt system. You can see the lights turning on and off in there with my switch. And if we turn the lights on and then turn my main shop lights off, you really get the effect. It's amazing how much adding the proper LEDs and lighting can really finish off the visual effect of a miniature seeming like it's life-size. Here you can see while I'm getting into that door, it creates a lot of depth and depth of field when you have the proper lighting. And here again, here's another quick pan around of everything that I was able to make myself and put in the diorama. Here's a before shot of that bathroom area that we just ended on. And this is how it was given back to me. You can see the walls shifted. They're actually mounted to a plywood board, and they had shifted out of place. After I got the diorama back, I handmade some custom accessories for it right away. This was a dumpster that I made out of plastic. I made the trash bags as well with an operable lid. And I made this sink out of sheet aluminum that was folded and creased, and aluminum tubing and smashed wire for the handles on the sink. That is all aluminum. This is the way the diorama first looked on display in the client's office. Looking at it now, it doesn't seem as impressive. Back then it was pretty nice, but now we have a big difference when we place his accessories on top of everything that I made. It starts to create that effect of a real set or a real scene, which is how I think about a lot of my miniatures. I try to create sort of miniature film sets. So whether you're a collector or a toy photographer, when you look at different corners and angles of the diorama, you kind of get the effect of a different set or a different scene or a different vignette that looks like a lived-in world. So we've got Mrs. Euler's workshop kind of filming me place things here just so you can see the scale and see the comparison in what I made versus what I placed in the diorama. Some little welding accessory tanks there. The client had all kinds of cool die-cast accessories in 1/24th, 1/20th, and 1/18th scale. I was able to make a lot of them work here. You can see me fiddling with the acetylene tanks. You can see how large I am and how large the diorama is. This really was the first large piece that I ever made. Again, panning around, you see how big the diorama is. I have to reach in and over a table to get into it. And from the inside looking out, it looks like I'm, the size of King Kong in comparison. But this is an extremely large diorama. So here's a full panoramic with all the cars set up as well, like they're being worked on. That orange car is one of my cars. All the other ones are his, but I thought that orange would be a nice contrast to the red, green, and white and silver that we have in here. That's the original brickwork on the front that I added weathering to. And I moved a lot of the signage around in a way that made a little bit more sense. And those cars really help create the effect of depth and size when you put them in there. They really show the scale of the diorama. The actual workshop that I'm in is probably, in comparison to this diorama, if this diorama was life-size, the workshop I'm working in is probably about 2/3 the size of this diorama. So with those cars in there, it really shows you how large the diorama is. Here's that same shot with the shop lights off and the diorama lights on. And the gloss coat on those cars really shows you how much that lighting can affect the way the diorama looks. That front counter is made out of sheet metal, foam core, and covered in balsa wood. And that green trash can in the back is actually another copy of my client's accessory that I was able to make using molding and casting techniques, so I didn't have to repaint his or purchase a pre-made piece. I try to do as much as I can by hand. This is something that took me a long time to work out. That area over the sink there with those that lighting setup. The T-bar ceiling is made out of pink insulation foam. It's been carved with a wood burning tool and texturized with different types of wire brushes. And a lot of those paper goods are actually made out of just folded and glued paper, cut to the right size. I thought that car looked great like that, set up in the front there next to all those accessories and tools. Glued a lot of the labels and posters up that I thought you might see being put up by employees of an auto shop over the years. Try to give it that lived-in feel. I've got Simpsons safety posters in the back there. I've got one in the back for slipping and falling, and one over by the front area for protecting your eyes while welding. See my hand in there for scale on that vehicle. The back walls are all the original way that I carved them. I just had to take them off of the plywood base and reposition them and re-glue them with better glue. my hand in this shot and that shot, just to show the scale again with the lighting. And this is a pan around from the floor using my iPhone camera, just to show how well things look lit up close. That lighting really, when you have proper lighting, it creates the right kind of shadows and gradation on your paintwork and can really achieve a realistic looking effect. And this trash can we're about to pan by right there, I made that out of small pieces of sheet plastic. I made the little trash can out of the trash bag out of an actual trash bag, and used a heat gun to shrink it over the top of that so that it looked like a stretched piece of plastic. I decided to switch out some of my clients' cars for some of my cars. These two purple cars you're about to see, this one and the next one, were both made by my uncle. He made them decades ago. I grew up seeing them in his house, and he gifted them to me over the last year. And I knew they would look great in this piece when it was finally finished, so did a couple of shots here of his custom cars in the diorama. With this panorama, you can really see the way the lights move across the glistening surface there. Something that can make your dioramas appear very realistic is creating reflective surfaces as much as possible. One of the things I wanted to add was a mirror, but I just didn't have time to work it out. This is a before and after shot of this rear of the shop. You can see how that lighting alone really changes the dynamic of the way a photo can be taken in here. This is the before of the front entrance of the shop, the way it was originally constructed, and the now with all the changes I've made to it. The before of the overall rear section of the shop with the bathroom area, and the now with all the adjustments, upgrades, and fixes. The before shot of the overall of the diorama from 4 years ago, and a panorama of all of the things that I handmade for it this time, not including that die-cast lift and the tires, which were pre-made and anchored to the diorama. My hand for scale, can really see how the lighting makes a huge difference, and with all the client's accessories added into it. I am doing a giveaway for all of my subscribers on YouTube. The goal is 1,000 subscribers before the end of 2020. If you subscribe to this channel, you will be entered into that giveaway to win a 16 by 16 by 16 inch custom-made diorama for you. So please subscribe, please hit the bell notification, and please let other people know who might be interested. The sooner we get to 1,000 subscribers, the sooner you could win that diorama. And never forget the words of Bob Ross: your little world is whatever you make of it. There are no mistakes, just happy accidents.